I have been planning out my life since the 5th grade when my parents divorced and I was told we were moving across the country, and I thought to myself, this is my chance to totally reinvent myself. I decided from that point on that I was tired of being the loner girl who just studied and had no friends at school, and so I decided to make plans to create a new version of myself. This version of me, since I was only halfway through the 5th grade, was based off of Disney Channel characters. Now these were the characters who were popular. They were musicians and dancers, they sang, and they were athletes, and they talked to people, and they dressed so great, and I loved their outfits, and I loved their main character energy, and so I decided to adopt that. And in doing so, I channeled so many different sources of energy that I hold dear to my heart right now, but I made sure that I created a version of myself who was just brand new. I became a cheerleader, I started orchestra, I joined chorus, and I maintained my all A's and sometimes B's grades during school. I continued being that girl for 12 years of my life, up until now. I recently graduated university and I just came back from summer in Europe, and now I'm starting a new life for myself, and I just feel like I need a restart. I'm sure you guys clicked on this video because you're sure that you need one too. You can be watching this video at any time because these steps apply at any time, but I do have this centered towards the fall, which is when I'm uploading it, and into the New Year's season. Hi, I'm Tommy. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for hitting subscribe. I'm so excited to get this new series started for you guys, where on Saturdays I just sit and I do a talking video in my car because I love my car. I'm the type of person who's constantly reflecting, so on Saturdays I want to use the time to film a sit-down video and really just talk to you guys about ways that I've changed my life or up-leveled, or things that I'm looking towards figuring out. Listen well and take notes because I'm going to be breaking all of this down in 8 steps. Step 1, you cannot go in the right direction without a destination. Where are we heading? What's the goal? How sparkly is it? How can we romanticize this destination? Because we are creating her, we want to make a new creation that is appealing to our brain. So make sure that you make it as beautiful as possible, because us as humans, we don't want to really go towards things or try new things if it's not appealing in some way. Step 2, acknowledge where you are right now. Now, a lot of you will try and skip this step because it's uncomfortable. Maybe you don't like the apartment or the house that you're living in, or you don't like the body that you're living in. But for you to take time and acknowledge where you are in this present moment will, one, set you in kind of a moment where you can say, okay, this is where I am, and now I need to decide where I want to be. As you're looking at your present moment, you may feel a tinge of upset, but you don't want to just get rid of that upset or try to avoid it. You want to take that upset and turn it into a new energy that will transform your life over this next period of time. Step number 3, take note of your non-negotiables. Now, these are basically the things that you cannot sacrifice in your life because it will make your goal unachievable. Let's say you are currently working a job, and if you were to stop working that job, you have absolutely no money. Then that is a non-negotiable. You need to keep working that job and find some type of energy in your day to put towards your new goal. For me personally, my non-negotiable is the type of job that I'm doing. I did come back from traveling, and so I don't have as much money as I could, but I do have enough in my savings where if I'm living and staying with family, then I'll be totally fine living. But I also know that for my goals, I need to have money. And so since my current priority is editing and making these videos, then I need to make sure that I'm doing a job that allows me to have my own personal time where I can still get my editing done on time for the day. So the non-negotiable that you do not change in your life can literally be anything, whether it is the location that you're living, or a snack that you need to cut off, or alcohol, or even how much money that you're spending or saving. This next thing, number 4, is setting out a timeline that is no less than 2 months. Oh my goodness. I say this and I stress this so much because we often do not give ourselves enough time to have room for error. Think about it this way. You have been one way for this much of your life. Do you really think that you can change your life in this much time if you've been doing the same thing or acting the same way for a long period of time? No, your body is comfortable, your brain is comfortable, it doesn't want to change. So you need to let yourself implement these new changes over a certain period of time. That way you don't feel too stressed to just be perfect immediately. So I say 2 months for this reason. Basically, if you give yourself 2 months, then let's say you spent the first month taking time to implement one new habit, and then this new habit on top of that new habit, and then a new habit. Then you spent a month basically building yourself up slowly. Now you can say, this was month 1, I'm moving into month 2. I have set the foundation in these prior weeks for month 1 that now I feel comfortable and confident enough to move into another level for month 2. And then month 2 will go by so much smoother because you've again prepped yourself without stressing yourself out too much. Again, we want to make this process super attractive for our brains. So making sure that you have a good amount of time to make these little changes day by day or week by week then it'll help your brain appreciate the process of creating her. So step 5, now we go up back to step 1. So I want to call this revamp creating her rather than becoming her. You've heard of becoming her a lot on social media, but again, you can't really become something if it doesn't exist. A baby does not just exist. It does not just become a baby. It is created first, and then it is born. We are birthing a new version of ourselves. So we are creating this new version of ourselves with the goal that we have from step 1. I have a list of 10 questions that I will copy and paste into the description for you guys. So I want you to take very good note of these 10 questions. Remember, we're essentially creating an avatar here that we're going to build and then step into. So the 10 questions are as follows. What type of outfits does she wear? What does her workplace look like? How does she do her hair and her makeup? What does her social life or social media look like? What is her morning or night routine? What do her bank accounts look like? What kind of car is she driving? What does she spend her extra money on? Is she well rested? How's her skincare? You can add or replace some of these things, but I do urge you to keep it around 10. If you keep the questions at around 10, then you won't really feel overwhelmed when you start to implement these different versions of yourself into her. So number 6, you want to make sure that you remind yourself of who you're creating every single day. Oh my goodness. She is you and you are creating her. So you want to make sure that you're reminding yourself of who you're creating physically, auditorily, and visually constantly. This just takes a little time and a good amount of intention to do so. So we have the visual, physical, and auditory ways of reminding ourselves of who we're creating. For the visual aspect, I went ahead and created a new vision board. Maybe some of you guys have made vision boards in the past. I have. But I went ahead and created a new one. Why? Because we're creating a new version of ourselves. That vision board that you have, maybe you do have some of the same goals in mind, but that version is tied to your old self. You're creating a new version of yourself, so you need to make sure that you're creating a new vision board. So now we take the questions from step 5 and we integrate it with the visual part. What I did was I went through and I asked myself each question, and then after asking the question, I went to Pinterest and I said, okay, let's find a photo that represents this thing. So if it was what type of outfits does she wear, I went through and I found an outfit that I've been looking at and I'm like, I want to dress like this. I want to look like this. This is the type of vibe I want. So you can just create the vibe of the outfit that you want. It doesn't have to be an exact outfit that you want, but something that you can use to visualize it. That way, when you read this back or you look at the outfit, you're like, this is who I'm stepping into. Sorry for the camera angle change that just happened. The phone was overheating and I just needed to cool it down a little bit. Then when you're done making this vision board, it needs to be everywhere. You need to save it as your lock screen. I have mine saved as my lock screen on my phone, my iPad, and my laptop. If you can keep it in your car, keep it in your car. If you can keep it in your locker, put it there. If you can keep it on your wall in your room, put it there. But you need to keep it everywhere. That way your brain is constantly having that reminder visually. Okay, this is who I'm creating, this is who I'm stepping into. Then the physical part is journaling. I went ahead and I took all those 10 questions and I answered each of them. I journaled in as much detail as I really could, but I focused on speaking in first person. For example, with the prompt, what's her morning routine like? I went ahead and I wrote, okay, I wake up, I drink a whole bottle of water, take my vitamins, and I journal. You can write about your actions like that, or you can write about your mindset. You can say, I'm so dedicated to working on this project and making sure I get this project done on time to the best of my ability. You want to make sure that you're writing down these things as if you're already doing them, because a version of you, now that you're creating her, a version of you is already doing those things. Remember, you're making her physical traits and her personality traits your reality. Going into the auditory part, one of my favorite things to do right now is when I go on my little hot girl walks, I will record myself talking and just talk through my thought process for the day or for the week. And as I was doing so, I kind of noticed that I would be talking as if I'm talking to a friend. And so it kind of creates a fun way for you to play on your affirmations, because essentially your phone call can go like, yeah, I woke up today and I honestly just had so much energy and I just sat down and I edited, and then after that I went on a walk and I ate this really great smoothie bowl, and then I took a little nap and I got some more editing done and it was so great. And you're talking as if it's already happened and you have already done it, and maybe you're doing it from like a reflective aspect or from a I'm going to do this and so I'm going to say it out loud and manifest it for myself aspect. But regardless, you're saying those things and your brain does not know any better. Your brain is like, oh yeah, she's saying I did this, so I must have done it. So you pretending that you're already doing these things brings me to my next point. You want to immediately start becoming the girl that you've just created. I say immediately because there's no waiting. You need to take that energy that you used during the whole day or the half day or even the past couple hours going through these steps with me, and you need to make sure that you put them into action now. This is because you're currently in that process of killing off the old self that you love so much for getting you to this point, but you dislike for letting you be this way for so long. You spent so much precious time just now listening and learning how to create her, so you need to start taking those steps. Taking those steps immediately also requires you to take note of how you're feeling and how you're thinking in the moment. Let's say this video ends and you're like, I just don't know if I want to do it right now. Take note of that. Why exactly are you thinking that way? Are you feeling it here or is it in your head? Are you all of a sudden getting tired even though you were just feeling super energized a couple seconds ago? You need to be asking yourself these questions daily and constantly throughout the day, because when you ask yourself these questions, you become increasingly more self-aware about who you are and how you think and what exactly you want to change. This makes sure that you are now leveling up both physically because of all the changes that you've written down and that you prepared for yourself, but also mentally because you are taking notes constantly, every single moment of the day. Then finally, we are at step 8. You make sure you keep it up. This will vary for different people. I personally know that I cannot have a super strict schedule like I used to have in elementary and middle school. So I've compromised. I've created ways for me to have a schedule that does not feel super restrictive, because I know that if I feel restricted, I will not get anything done. And you might be the same way, so I'm going to share this little method that I have with you guys. My routine for the day has 5 different alarms. First, I wake up at 6:30. That's the first alarm. I make sure that I have this alarm simply because I like to get my work done through the day leisurely, and I want to be able to rest during the day. And I know that I have a lot of editing to do, so it also gives me enough time to edit throughout the day and get rest. So waking up at 6:30 is my time. It can be different for you. Everyone is different. Then at 9 a.m., I make sure that I get my day started. So for me, 6:30 is go on my phone and edit some things for Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest. And I lay in bed the entire time. I've not really gotten up. Maybe I've laid around to journal or drink my water, but I have not gotten to the mindset of exiting my bed. At 9 o'clock, I go and I take a shower, or I go on a walk, or I eat something. I do something that is a bit more active. That way I'm getting my body up to get things done. If I know that I'm in the zone for editing, then I'll maybe move a location to, again, change my body's rhythm and just get something else done. Then at 1:30, I have another alarm. This is my check-in alarm. Have you done something today? Were you maybe a bit more tired today, and so you had a slower start, or you have other things to do in the morning, and so now you're at a place where, okay, it's 1:30, I have time, I can do something else. Where am I? Do I need to do a mental check-in? A check-in on myself throughout the day. Then comes 6:30. The day is almost over, and now we have a situation where I need to assess, where have I been throughout the day? What have I done throughout the day? Is there anything else that I need to accomplish? This is a perfect alarm for me, to be honest, because let's say I'm just having a super tired day. Once that 6:30 alarm hits, I think, okay, I got to rest up until now. 6:30 has hit. Now I feel like I can take a seat and edit for 4 hours or 3 hours, however much time I can get in by 10 p.m., which is my get ready for bedtime. This is so crucial. So crucial. Oh my gosh. I am stressing this so much for myself and for you guys watching this. Your bedtime routine is so crucial, because if you do not get ready for bed at a certain time, then it affects your morning. And if your morning is affected, then you will not have as good of a day as you could. If you sleep well, then you're less hungry throughout the day and you're less tired throughout the day. So you don't waste time going to maybe go eat this thing or buy something else that you shouldn't be buying. Or you don't waste time, taking a nap during the day, or just feeling sluggish to the point where you're dragging out what you're supposed to do, or you're procrastinating. One thing also to make this a bit more fun, because again, we want to trick our brains into enjoying this, I made my alarms have certain sounds that are either from iconic TikTok audios or songs I listened to growing up that would really get me up in the morning, things like that. I went through GarageBand and then just mixed some things together, and it worked, where I have each alarm has a different sound, and I hear the alarm and I'm like, okay, this is what time it is. okay, this is what I need to do, this is the energy that I need to feel, let's get it done. Again, with those sounds, you want to make sure that it is aligned with the girl that you are creating. Now, creating her is not just done in a bubble, so obviously in the future I do want to go into some of the external aspects that can affect creating her, like having people who rely on you, or maybe having people who expect certain things out of you, or maybe even people who have put you in a box. For now, that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely enjoyed talking about this topic and creating the script for it, and I was just super excited to kind of find a quiet place, hopefully quiet enough to film this. As always, thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching. I will definitely be improving the area that I film this over time. I have vlogs going up every week, and I try new videos on Wednesdays, and on Saturdays you guys can tune in for this talking video if that's what you like. Again, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching xxotomi. I want to start doing something where it's like, you know, xxotomi, so kiss, kiss, hug, bring it in. A little hug moment. Okay. That's all. It's late and it's dark.